Hey friend, Graham here from the recordingrevolution.com, and today let's talk about mixing on headphones in the home studio. First, I want to make the case for mixing on headphones, 3 reasons why it's a good idea, and then I want to give you 3 ways to get the most out of mixing on headphones if that's the choice or the route that you go. Now, most people in the home studio, when you get started, mix on headphones because that's their only option. It's a combination of what you already have. Most people already have a pair of headphones laying around, or simply cost. These guys, for example, that I mix on are KRKs. They're the 8400 KNSs, and they cost about $150 for the whole pair. That's about half the cost of a budget pair of speakers. So clearly cost is a reason why many of you are already mixing on headphones. So I won't even mention that, but let's talk about why mixing on headphones briefly is a smart move. Number 1 is consistency. People overlook this. No matter where you mix, if this is your primary reference source, if this is your primary monitor source, then it's consistent. I don't care what room you're in. I don't care what time of day. I don't care how far away from the desk you are or what's happening. There's nothing between the monitors, aka the headphones, and your ears. So that gives you consistency from song to song, room to room, year to year. And consistency can be your best friend. It allows you to know exactly what you're hearing every single time, and there's really hardly any variables. So you can just do what you were meant to do, which is mix. Number 2 is clarity. We all know that our home studios aren't real pro studios, aka the biggest disadvantage is the sound of the room. We're working in built-out bedrooms. I'm in a garage that's been built out. It's been acoustically treated, but it's still not perfect. I know the weak spots in my room, and that helps me when I'm mixing on monitors. But you take all that out with a pair of headphones. That's one of the big advantages. The room is no longer an issue. You're not hearing your mix as affected by the room. You're hearing nothing but the mix blasted straight to your ears. So the clarity is there. You know exactly what your mix is giving you, and you don't have anything coloring that sound, which can help you make more accurate mix decisions. And then the number 3 reason why mixing on headphones is smart, and this one I think is the most powerful, it's subtlety. Subtlety in mixing, although some people would argue, is not really the way to go. I understand there's a big movement to just do massive, big, extreme, hyped moves, and a lot of my favorite mixers mix that way. But I would argue that subtlety in mixing is the most important. And making massive boosts or massive cuts is a little heavy-handed. The little boosts, the little cuts, the little processing, the little automation, the little teeny moves that by themselves aren't very strong or satisfying do add up across an entire mix and give you a massive sound. And the hard thing about mixing in a home studio on monitors is you can't hear your subtle moves as well, so you tend to be a little more heavy-handed. You boost that EQ a little bit too much. You oversaturate things in the mix. At least I have found myself doing that. So with the headphones, I put them on, I instantly hear 1 dB, 1.5 dB booster cut, or 1.5 dB change in some dynamic range. I can hear those subtle differences better on headphones, and so when I hear it, I go, that's enough, and it allows me to not go too far in the mix. So in a roundabout way, headphones can help you make smarter decisions because you can hear better the slight moves that you're making. Now, let's assume that you don't care about any of that. You're already working on headphones. So, Graham, I don't care. I got these headphones. That's all I have, or it's what I prefer to work on. How am I supposed to maximize working on headphones? How can you get the most out of working on headphones? What pitfalls are there, if any, to mixing on headphones? Well, for the longest time, I've been an antagonist against mixing on headphones for a few reasons, because there's things that will trip you up. For one, they make your ears tired. You will need to take more breaks when you mix on headphones. So the best thing I could tell you is if you are a headphone mixer, take more frequent breaks, at least every 30 minutes. At least, sometimes every 10 to 15 minutes. There's so much sound hitting your ears that your ears will get tired faster. When your ears fatigue, a couple things happen. For one, long term, you can have permanent ear damage, which means you won't be able to hear very well for the rest of your life, which is not fun because these are amazing. You only get one set of ears, and also it'll affect your work if you ever hope to do this professionally. Number 2, they fatigue your ears in the short term in that your ears, amazing as they are, have built-in compressors. They compress, they turn things down, they block sound to protect themselves. What that means for you is that you can't really hear accurately anymore. A lot of the high-end information disappears, a lot of the dynamics disappear. You're not really hearing things accurately because your ears are just sort of blocking some of the sound to protect themselves. So there's no point in even mixing if you can't hear it properly. So ear fatigue is going to hurt you in the long run. It's going to hurt you in the short run. So taking frequent breaks allows your ears to just decompress, get some breathing room, and have a break. So when you come back, they are fresh. Take more breaks is number one. Number two is don't mix only on headphones. I hate to say that, but it doesn't mean you have to have a pair of monitors. It means you have to listen to something else, at least for a moment, for two reasons. Number one is our ears get used to whatever we're listening to. I don't care if they're monitors on your ears, aka headphones. I don't care if they're $1,000 monitors. You will get used to whatever you're hearing because you have a brain attached to your ears. It's a powerful thing that allows you to ignore the flaws or the biases of that frequency response, which means if your headphones, like mine, for example, are kind of bright, you will get used to that brightness over 30 minutes or so, maybe even only 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, you won't think things are bright enough because you're used to the brightness, when in reality, you could be pushing things too much. Switching to another pair of speakers or another pair of headphones instantly changes your ears and wakes them up. You instantly hear your mix represented in a different way, and it resets your ears, which is very valuable. So that means to benefit yourself, you want to move from these to something else at least once or twice during the mixing process to give yourself a reality check, just to wake up your ears. It's not that another pair of speakers has to be better. In fact, these could be cheap computer speakers. This could be laptop speakers. This could be your iPhone speaker. I know those aren't ideal ways to mix, but they will do the job of waking up your ears. That you go, oh, something might stand out. That kick drum is really, really weird or really, really loud. It's the resetting of your ears, and that reset happens the moment you go back to your headphones as well. The second reason you want to go to another pair of speakers other than your headphones is vocals. I think vocals are really hard to hear properly if you mix only on headphones. So you might get it real, real close, but the level might be off by 3 to 6 or more dB if you're listening exclusively on headphones. So I will always flip to a pair of speakers of some kind, stand back for a minute, listen like a casual listener, just sort of zero in and notice, is the vocal too buried or is it too loud? And it'll tell you what to do. But sometimes I lose that vocal level on headphones. And the other trick to working on headphones is simply to turn them down. Turn them down. This helps with the ear fatigue one, the first problem. And this helps also with balance and levels, because when we crank things on headphones, just like we do in speakers, we get that hyped bottom in, that hyped top in, and I think we lose perspective of the balance. So find a comfortable working volume, but then have an extremely low volume that you flip to every now and again to check your balance. It's really important to know what your mix sounds like on super, super low volumes. In fact, for years, one of my reality checks for mixing, even if I mix exclusively on speakers, is to take a pair of headphones, turn them way down, press play so I'm barely hearing it, and take note of what I hear. I want to make sure I still hear the snare, the vocal, maybe the kick drum. And I also want to take note of the rest of the balance. And then I bring it up slightly and just see how the mix develops. And if something just sticks out like a sore thumb, I know I have a problem. So when you're mixing on headphones, the best thing you could do is definitely turn them way, way down as an alternative volume, and you'll come out ahead. Listen, mixing on headphones in the home studio is a reality. It's not just a handicap anymore or something that you have to do. It can actually be an advantage to you. A lot of us have to mix late at night. A lot of us have to mix with roommates in the same room. A lot of us have to mix on the road. Headphone mixing is becoming more and more accepted in the pro world. It's funny, I wrote about Andrew Sheps, who's one of my favorite mixers of all time, and he was mentioning in a recent interview that he's actually mixed stuff on Sony MDR 7506s, I think. $99 headphones. $99 closed-back headphones he's done mixes on that were mastered at Abbey Road, and they did a flat transfer, meaning they didn't have anything they could even change to it. They thought it sounded so good. Mixing on $99 headphones. There are more and more people that are having to mix on headphones and finding that because they know those headphones so well, they can do really, really good mixes. And that brings me to the final point. No matter what you mix on, if you know what stuff sounds like on it, you have a leg up. Not just the stuff you're working on, but really good music. Know what good guitars sound like. Know what good vocals sound like. Know what appropriate reverb and delay tails sound like. Know what compressed vocals and drums sound like. Know what good clarity on a mix sounds like on your headphones. That gives you a weapon when you are mixing your own stuff, because you know what's possible. You have no room coloring the sound, and you can mix to those reference tracks. So again, the referencing and learning and listening to what sounds good on these speakers is always the key, whether they're headphone speakers or monitor speakers. That's going to get you farther in your home studio. Hope that helps, friend. Gives you some things to think about if you are mixing at home on headphones. Leave a comment below this video. Let me know two things. One, do you mix exclusively on headphones? And number two, what is one thing you have found that helps you to get better translating mixes when you're working exclusively on headphones? Share it with the community below. I'd love to know what you're doing. If you like the videos, subscribe. Also, if you want to get my free mixing series, The Smart Start to Mixing, how the first 60 minutes of your mix will sort of set you up for success or failure for the rest of your mix, just click the button below the video or in the video and join the mailing list. I'll send that video series to you absolutely free. Other than that, my friend, have a great weekend. I will see you on another video soon. Take care.